What up? What up? It's your boy Conserviz34, and I am back at it again. Another show, another reaction to the show, and I was set up to have a special guest. Unfortunately, that guest is unable to make it out to call in today, but they did leave me some notes on the show. We're going to go over that. Song you just heard was Walk Around the Moon, the debut of it. And this video, to give credit where credit is due, this was from Andy Mendoza. We'll pull up his YouTube page. Definitely check it out. He has some pretty high quality some pit videos here in 4K, including Sweet, Walk Around the Moon, Gray Street, Ocean and the Butterfly, and even some classic stuff, some full shows here that he was able to get. So shout out to Andy Mendoza for that content on his page. And we're going to look at the set list. Talking Tunes. How are you doing, Mr. Allen? Thank you for joining us here. And so this show, I don't have a lot of audio to go by. And to be honest, I was actually at a comedy show tonight. So what I'm using for today is I'm looking at the set list, and I have some notes here sent to me by John Dix, who was on last night. And he was sending me notes from his phone throughout the night. So while we can't have him in person here, we are, we're going to get some of his, I'm going to read off some of his comments. Brett, thank you for joining. He says he was listening on the Facebook live stream. It sounded great. That's awesome. And really, Facebook is one of the only places now. Twitter can, I believe, live stream. Facebook and then Instagram are the only ones that have been left as we come out of this pandemic. Those are really what the main ones that we have in order to get people who are at the show. And we thank you for those people who do stream, especially because at the venue, it is very hard to get a good quality connection, and it does drain your battery. So those who do live stream, it gives us a live look in at the show and kind of gives us a feel of what it's like to be there when we can't make it. So shout out to everyone who does live stream. So let's take a look. We're going to pull up the set list. Yes, we're going to talk about the Big Whiskey Heavy set list. And I want to first look at some of the comments that John did send me. So it's on here. So they start off with Seek Up, right? And they then come with When the World Ends. And what's interesting is the second spot last night and tonight are two songs that people thought are possible or just very relevant to what's going on in the world. When the World Ends, not as heavily favored as Granny or Hello Again, but still up there. Hey, yeah, I mean, this world's going crazy, so let's do, When the World Ends was something people were just throwing up in the universe when they were talking about what song would come. So it's funny how you have a 41 and a Seek Up, not the first choices for, a post-pandemic world opener for the first two shows. Although some people thought, hey, Seek Up is still a song that makes you realize what's important. And look, hey, all this stuff is going to pass away. And look at me in my fancy car and all this stuff. And look, I can't take it to my grave, right? So yes, in the first When the World Ends since 2018. Now, the thing is, with some of these liberations, some of these liberations aren't as big when you think about 2020 being a year where there was no shows. So yes, When the World Ends hasn't been played since 18. That's still, that's 3 years. But really it's 2 years of touring because you have 18 and then it's really 19 is the first year without it. And then 20, you have some touring, but that's a wash. That's COVID in 21. So yeah, first When the World Ends since 2018. And we'll get to If Only. That's another one that was played for the first time in a while. But so you have Seek Up When the World Ends. And then it does reference this. There was a Proudest Monkey tease. That was the first message I got from John here tonight, was that there was a Proudest Monkey tease before Satellite. And yeah, that's definitely still a pretty big gap, right? 18 to 21 is still a pretty big gap for sure. And so you have a Proudest Monkey tease into Satellite. And then we get Sweet Up and Down, which, was played in Vegas, right? And in 2020. So it was played last year. That's what's funny is Sweet Up and Down isn't a liberation for this show because technically it was played in 2020. But you have When the World Ends and If Only are liberations technically. Like, oh, it hasn't been played in a while. That's kind of funny because we haven't had Sweet Up and Down, pre-2020 in a while. It had been gone away. Another note I got from the show is, for So Much to Say, Dave sang the first verse twice. So he said Dave sang the first verse of So Much to Say twice. We know 41, Dave, the first verse he kind of messed it up a little bit. And I actually don't mind those moments. As I said in shows, I don't mind when the band makes mistakes like that. It really doesn't bother me. And actually, it's kind of cool because for a band that does mix it up every night, sometimes when things are thrown off a little bit, it does make it a little more, makes you pay attention. And Typical Times, aka Ron from Colorado, says that I was thinking Satellite would have been played on one of the Friday shows. But no, it's played on Saturday. But Sweet Up and Down, like I said, So Much to Say. Anyone seen the bridge? Now, John says there's a Beatles interpolation during Anyone Seen the Bridge. Can't think of the song, and they did a different jam during Anyone's seen during that. And then the next comment is Lying in the Hands of God was outrageous, and Raven had the bluesy buddy intro. And I'll bring you down to his comments and we'll go back in the set list. And then when If Only was played, I got a message from John. Why liberate If Only? I agree. I think If Only is a great movie song. It's a great studio song. It's boring live. And I've seen If Only a bunch of times. This was when I was starting to pick up my touring. When Away from the World came out is when I started going to shows right before it came out in 2012. And then 13 and 14 and 15, I got a lot of Away from the World. And I actually had heard every song from Away from the World rather quickly. I think by 2013, I heard every song live. So I had Broken Things and I had the riff, that those were played rather quickly for me. And those are two songs that some people didn't get live, even if they went to a bunch of shows. But If Only is not a good song live to me. Some people like it. I don't think it translates well. It's better in a movie, cinema, or a TV series. Like I can think of something where there's the two lovers, and the whole series are they got to get together, and this is a point where one of them's like, if only I could have it just the way I want you. I think that's what that's for. It's not for live music. It doesn't translate well live. And John at the show, physically experiencing it, he had nothing good to say about it being played live, and that's why I like that he gave me these notes. And then you get at song 15, which is if only he said 15 songs deep and no Jimmy or Don't Drink the Water. Now obviously it's played in the encore. And then after that he sent me a a link to Kanye West living at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is actually funny. I am a big Kanye fan. His earlier works and My Beautiful Dark Fantasy, we've been talking about Kanye anyway. And then Billy's closes out the set. He says Billy's, and then Don't Drink the Water, as it says in the almanac. He says this land is your land. Interpolation, and then Shake Me Closer, and a bunch of like, oh, emojis and a emoji right there too. So yeah, Shake Me Close, Shake Me Like a Monkey Closer. I think it's one of the worst closers of all time, and I would not wish it on anyone. Personally, it's a song where if it's earlier in the set, that's fine. It's a song where if it's in the middle of the set, that's fine. It gets in, it gets out. I think the song is good on the album. It's okay live. It just depends on how I feel, but it's not something I need in a show. It could go missing forever. I wouldn't be mad. But I would never wish Shake Me Like a Monkey Closer on my worst enemy. So I think it was, it's crazy. Brett says, yeah, no Jimmy thing, right? Still honestly can't believe no Jimmy thing. And that is a shocker, right? You're 2 shows in, there's no Jimmy thing. Typically on these 2-step weekends when there's back-to-back shows, like, a Texas 2-step, this North Carolina 2-step, the New England 2-step, when they used to have Hartford and Mansfield, you have a Jimmy thing at one of the shows, no Jimmy thing. And one of the things that, again, John mentioned when he was 15 songs into the set was, all right, no Don't Drink the Water, no Jimmy thing. Those are staples that to me need to be lowered down. So it's nice that, you could go to a weekend like this. There's no Jimmy thing taking up 15, 20 minutes. And what that does is, here's what you get. You get a seek up to start a show, and you still have space for a lot of different things, right? That's what happens when you don't play Jimmy thing as much. And look, it is a good song, right? And it's nice to sing along. My issue is it's too long. Jimmy thing was better when it wasn't 15 minutes. 10-minute Jimmy thing, even an 8-minute Jimmy thing. Just do how it played on the album. I don't need the sing-along part is fun, but the whole jam thing, we don't need all that, especially without the band post Leroy. I love Jeff, but we don't need him and Rashawn to showcase their stuff. Actually, matter of fact, Jeff is better on Lying in the Hands of God, which John mentioned in his notes to me. He was like, wow, that's awesome. I'd rather hear Jeff play Lying in the Hands of God on sax and have his moment. I'd rather even have Rashawn have a trumpet thing on Lying in the Hands of God than Jimmy thing. I'd rather have Jimmy thing be 8 minutes. That's just my personal opinion. But still, without Jimmy thing being played, you have a good mix of things in the middle of this set. So you have a You Never Know, which is a song I'm glad they're keeping in this rotation, right? It's been in the rotation in 2019 and I believe 2018. Let me see. But this is one of the best, to me, it's one of the best Dave Matthews Band songs, period. So let's see. We'll go to that. How do you? All right, here we go. All right, so You Never Know. Yeah, I did have a couple 18. Did have a couple. Oh, Columbus, right. Talking tune. I'm looking at the chat now. Yeah. So we got, look at that. 18 and 19, you have an even flow. And now you've had two You Never Knows. One, I believe that was Dave's solo, right? Let's open that one up. Oh, yep, live from home by request. So you have two You Never Knows. Look at that. That's beautiful to have 18 and 19, and hopefully 2021 we get down, maybe even get it even further. Look, 2002 you have a bunch, 03, 05, 7, 9, 12. I saw it in 14 on 722. Was my first You Never Know. I then got it twice in 19. I got it in Hartford, 622, and then at the Gorge, which is the 9. Does that say 9-6? Yeah. So I've been blessed. I've had You Never Know 3 times. So I've been very blessed in that sense to have 3 You Never Knows and only been going to show since 2012. But more people, I really wish more people could experience that. And Raven, yeah, You Never Know in Raven. And if you look back here, oops, let me go back to here, right? So you have some busted stuff filling up, you have some crash, and you have Big Whiskey, and you actually have a Big Whiskey melody. We'll talk about next. We have 6 Big Whiskey songs. So you have a Squirm, Funny the Way It Is, and then you have a Come Tomorrow Tease, Lying in the Hands of God. This song does not need to come back. Come Tomorrow does not need to come back. Period. I'm glad it was just a tease. This is probably one of the worst Dave Matthews Band songs, in my opinion, just the way it was executed. Great message, horrible execution. So I'm glad it was just a tease. And Lying in the Hands of God, to me, this is Dive In and Lying in the Hands of God. Or if I could only pick 2 songs from Big Whiskey to be played forever and everything else had to be eliminated, these are the 2, Lying in the Hands of God and what's worse, Gaucho or Come Tomorrow? Come Tomorrow, without a doubt. Gaucho has a catchy warehouse style rhythm. And if it's done right, even though Gaucho got old pretty quick in 2012, I'd rather hear Gaucho than Come Tomorrow. Come Tomorrow is just a snooze fest. Again, great message, horribly executed. And I love, again, Gaucho has a nice little thing. It just, when you hear it on a bunch of times during the tour, it gets old. So, and there's actually pretty good horn parts in that song too, which I'm not yeah, Come Tomorrow, that's what Talking Tune says. But we have this little melody, but Lying in the and what's cool is when we have no Jimmy thing, look what we get. We get a Lying in the Hands of God, we get a Raven, we get a You Never Know. Like, you have songs like, to me, look, You and Me, I don't really care about the song. Where Are You Going is okay. I mean, to me, it's a skip, it's a bathroom song. Funny the Way It Is, I'm back and forth, but it's not a care. But the thing is, people love those songs I just mentioned. So you get the average fan is going to enjoy those songs I said that are skippable. Where Are You Going is popular. It's a hit, right? It's a hit from every day. You and Me is a wedding song, even though I think it's the worst wedding song from DMB. But it is a wedding song. People have these tattoos of You and Me together. They have these things on their mantle. So you have those songs for the people who just love those parts of DMB, and for people who like Lying in the Hands of God, Raven. You have Sweet Up and Down. You have A Seek Up, and even Rooftop to me is a great song that's evolved to be something that I love the breakdown that they started doing in 13. Brett says, I like Gaucho a lot. Wish they would bring it back maybe as a rarer one at least. Squirm also like, even though they just constantly abuse Big Woods. Yeah, they do. They always have, but it's also an album that was made for this band, right? And it's probably the best. I mean, if you look at everything post Big Whiskey, which is just Big Whiskey, Away from the World, Come Tomorrow, Big Whiskey as an album, not as a live presentation, but as an album, it is great. Luke, hey, thanks for joining. You saw the tweet and you hopped in. We're talking about the show, and unfortunately, my friend isn't going to be able to make the call. He sent me some notes. And one of the things that we're talking about, Luke, if you just came on, So Much to Say, which was song number 5, Dave repeated the first verse twice, which I just said is actually, when Dave makes mistakes, it actually makes it more interesting. Certain artists, if they have a breakdown or a bad show, it's like, oh man, I paid top dollar to see so-and-so and they had a breakdown. But for Dave, it actually makes it entertaining. Even though I don't want them to just make a bunch of mistakes, it does. It's really cool to see how the band adjusts. They're professionals at adjusting on the fly. And yeah, Talking Tunes. Oh yeah, no. Talking Tunes. I know you have a lot going on. We talk periodically, and I appreciate your support. And when you have time, you text me, you hit me up. You're always messaging me. You're showing me your set list. And yes, and Luke says Dave is awesome at mistakes. Absolutely. I remember the pig. It was on Sirius XM radio. The pig from Mansfield, Massachusetts. I think that was 19, and he messed up the "Here Are We," like the last verse of that song. But it like they adjusted, and it was interesting. And I was listening back to it, kind of enjoying it, about how they just he ad-libbed it. And to me, DMB, we look at even having You Never Know, having Sweet Up and Down, right? And we think of the Lily White sessions. To me, the most complete DMB is Vulnerable and Mistake Prone DMB, right? The Lily White sessions, they said it wasn't fully polished and complete. And the best Gray Street, the best Captain recordings are from the Lily White sessions, hands down. I don't care that it wasn't mixed and mastered fully. It's raw and vulnerable. It came from the band wasn't in a good place mentally and just how they were personally, but it made for the best music. So I love that. But yeah, so we have 6 Big Whiskey songs here, but the trade-off is we have no Jimmy thing, right? We have one under the table, but we have no Jimmy thing. So there are trade-offs here that we have, and I think that the band is it's in a good place right now. We have some new songs. We have No Come Tomorrow, no Jimmy thing so far after 2 shows, and those are 2 positives. I want to bring up, speaking of Talking Tunes, we want to take a look at the set list that you had. We're going to pull that up. Actually, you know what's cool, Alan, aka Talking Tunes. I have my old babysitter family friend. They're out in Wood County. As I'm bringing this up, they're out in Wood County, Ohio. One of my childhood friends, Kyle, is part of the Special Olympics, and the Ohio State Buckeyes actually they played with the Wood County Special Olympics. I think he's on the basketball team, and he does golf or basketball and baseball / softball. Yeah, near Toledo. So what was cool is the Buckeye, like some of the players played with the Special Olympics. And I mean, when you talk about how this impacts, I mean, I thought that was really cool. I know these teams do these things all the time, but I was just looking at Facebook today, and they're originally from Pittsburgh. They moved to Connecticut when their kids were really young. And then as they got to a little older, they left and went back to PA, and then they went to Ohio and in the Bowling Green. I think they're in Bowling Green area and near Toledo, because he also, that childhood friend, they found him a job with the Toledo Mud Hens, which were very accommodating to him and his needs. So I think he still works for the Mud Hens. I'm not sure. But let's see. We have this is Talking Tunes. Oh, Luke, yeah, hey man, it's late, but I thank you so much for supporting. And yeah, definitely check in if you are able to get here for Tuesday. I should have another stream and hopefully trying to get someone in. But have a good night. Thanks for coming on, even if it's a couple minutes. I appreciate the support. Everyone who's on right now, thank you guys. It's definitely more people. Usually it's 2 or 3 people, and I appreciate those 2 or 3 people. But now we got 9 people. But to take a look at this is Talking Tunes. It's just Nachos, another username he has here. So you never know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you got 10 out of 20. Wow. So you got 10 out of 20, it looks like here. Right. That's what it looks like, unless I'm missing things. And actually interesting, no ants marching so far, which is, expected. They don't play it every other night. But the Jimmy thing is the big one. Thank God we didn't get stand up. Thank God Samurai Cop is missing in action, but it looks like Samurai. I would love for Samurai Cop to go away, right? I'd like for these Come Tomorrow songs to fade out. We had a lot of playing of them, and I don't think we needed. There was no Crush, no recently. But you had oh, you did spot Tripping Billies. Okay. So it was at the 20 spot. Okay. But they did 22. Okay. 24 points. So you're at 36th place. Honey, honey, coming down. All right, let me stop. All right, but that's really cool. Shout out to Talking Tunes. Any other thoughts or opinions here? What did you guys think? Was anyone there? Anyone in the chat at the show? That would be awesome if there's any live reaction. That's one thing I want to try to do, as you saw last night. I want to get people who were at the show because it's a different experience. Looking at a set, even live streaming it, you get a little bit of a feel. Brett says, you want to hear more Virginia in the Rain or Black and Bluebird. Those 2 songs to me are the songs that are the best out of Come Tomorrow as far as live. And see if I can look this up. And I can't find my own video, but I was actually at the first Virginia in the Rain full band. Let's see if we can I'll find it. Yeah, I mean this was me. This was me shooting video of the first Virginia in the Rain. I mean, no one knew what this was. And Black and Bluebird is the same thing. Black and Bluebird, just like the new song, Walk Around the Moon. Oh, Almanac doesn't list Bridge as a numbered spot in the set list, whereas the set list scheme does. Okay. So you got it then. Okay. That makes sense. But yeah, I mean, this song, Virginia in the Rain, it fits what Tim Reynolds does the best. When I think of, okay, how would DMB make a song incorporating Tim Reynolds, but still making it so it's not a wall of sound? Well, here's what you do. You have the shivers from Tim's guitar. You have the keys. You have this nice progression. And I'm going to share a lot of my life here. I took some pictures because my dad is from Virginia and I've been down there a couple of times in Virginia Beach. He's from Portsmouth. But listening to this song when it was actually raining in Virginia was probably one of the coolest things I did after I got my vaccination shot. It was just, it was awesome. I don't know if I can find on Instagram. But yeah, the hook in Virginia in the Rain is beautiful. It is. And yeah, Clean Electric Tim again and again is another example. I love Again and Again, and I love playing it too on my electric guitar. Um, let's see if I can. This is on Instagram, but let me see. I actually made a, where is it? I made this cool little. I was in my hotel room. It's hard to see Instagram on a computer. That's what it sounds. But it was raining on the boardwalk, and I was out like thunderstorms and all this stuff. And I took from my balcony. It's hard to see, but there's rain that was falling down. It was really cool. I went outside and I was listening to it. Then I made this video after I was listening to the full song. And I also, even though it wasn't raining, where was this? Where is it? I was down there a couple years ago, and this is it. This is the money shot right here. This was at sunrise, and I was listening to Virginia in the Rain as the sun was coming up, even though it was sunny. It's still a good song. It's a good song to listen to, even when it's sunny, man. I tell you, man, I love that song and Black and Bluebird. It's just, those are two songs that to me, I heard them. I heard the last Black and Bluebird ever in Hartford was the last time it was played full band. And I heard it a bunch of other times. And I just, it's Walk Around the Moon's the same thing. It's based around the acoustic guitar. Oh yeah, I posted it. Yes, that's from 19. But I don't do much on Instagram anymore. Here or there, it's more, obviously it's more visual. So when I get to the concerts, you'll see more posts there. Okay, we'll turn that off. And top 2 songs in any given set list from Come Tomorrow. Okay, yeah, I agree. I mean, those are the safe bets. Those are the safe bets for that. But so we go on to Alpharetta, Georgia. So we have our first midweek show. We'll see what happens at that midweek show. It's also the first major, or not major hall, because they'll have a couple of days to travel there, but they're going to be leaving North Carolina and going further south. And you're going to get into some of these hotter venues where the fans are going to. North Carolina is hot, right? It's humid there, but now we're getting into the deep south. So we'll see how that affects the band. Obviously the West Palm Beach, if we look at the upcoming. So we got Alpharetta, Tampa, West Palm Beach, and then they have a couple of days off, and you have Chicago. But this little stretch, you're getting into some of these, these deep south. We have two West Palm Beach, as is always expected. It's a big weekend for DMB. It'll be interesting to see what they play, especially with you have 3 Florida shows. So Talking Tune says, wish I could have went to the Florida 3 again this year. I would love if see, the thing is, the reason I don't go down to those shows, I know West Palm Beach has had some crazy, amazing shows. Florida is brutal. Now, it's a little later this year than it took. I guess usually it's like July. It actually is in July every year. But this is Let's see. Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be the same. And yeah, it's about the same. They're usually late July. I've been to Florida and Georgia in June, July. It is brutal hot. And to me, it's not worth the trip to be burning up at a show. What I'm looking at for my future endeavors is when we look at Deer Creek, like I want to go to Deer Creek, right? Because Indiana is also humid, but it's not Florida oppressive humid. It's still inland dry, there's not ocean or breezes. But to me, it's just I want to go to Deer Creek. I would love to go to Alpine if they ever do go to Alpine again. Eventually, I want to get to these Guilford shows. I don't think I'll be able to make it this year, although next week I'm going to be going to Guilford, hopefully for Chris Stapleton. So I'll be able to see the venue. But I've been to, Hartford, SPAC, Mansfield, Mohegan, the Gorge, which I'll be going to this year. But I'd love to go to Deer Creek next year. That's really the next game plan is to get to the Deer Creek region. But I have no desires to go south unless it's early in the tour. Like they had Pensacola, Florida in 19, and they had, sometimes they do Rogers, Arkansas earlier. This year it's later. It's in October, and also again October in Rogers, Arkansas is better, right? It's better than middle of the summer, right? So, and I will be at Farm Aid 2021 in Hartford, Connecticut. I do have a warehouse ticket that I've secured, and I'm excited for that to see not only Dave and Tim, which to me can do no wrong. It doesn't matter. They can play a mainstream set. I love Dave and Tim because Tim on acoustic, it just opens up, the ability for Dave to shine and for Tim to shine at the same time. And you get an acoustic percussive feel. So I love that. So I'll definitely be at a hometown Farm Aid. What an awesome blessing to have that show. My theory on Farm Aid, because typically they don't go to the same venue in consecutive years. Let me see, Farm Aid location history. Oh, here we go. So we can pull this up on Wikipedia. Right. So you have like Illinois, Texas, Nebraska, 16 cities, Indiana, Texas, Iowa, Louisiana, Kentucky, South Carolina, Illinois. Now they did 97 and 98 at the same. And it looks like 99 and 2000 were the same. So those are back-to-back years. And then you had Deer Creek, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Washington, Auburn, Washington. And then they went back to Illinois, Camden, New York City, Mansfield. And we never had it in Connecticut. Now we've had it twice in 3 years. So you had Hershey, SPAC in 13, Raleigh at the venue DMB was just at, Bristol. But here's what's crazy is you have Hartford, Connecticut, and then we're going to have Hartford, Connecticut again. Yeah, we had an 18, not 19. Sorry. Alpine was next. But it's nice that we're going to have it in 2021. I have grown to really be about the cause of Farm Aid. That show changed my life. If you can get to a farm aid, I highly suggest it. If you can get to just watch a stream and understand what these farmers are going through, I highly suggest it. But I'm looking forward to that. Seeing Willie Nelson, Neil Young, John Cougar, Mellencamp. That's an awesome trinity of just legends. And then Dave and Tim is before all that. And then Sturgill Simpson is going to be now. Chris, this is a different setup, but Sturgill Simpson will be back with, in the lineup here. So it is awesome because he wasn't there in 19 at Alpine. I really wish Chris Stapleton could be a part of it, but I'm going to see him next week. So I'll see a full band, a full show of him. But and the Black Pumas, if you haven't heard them, check them out. They are amazing. I learned about them from Farm Aid, but they're an awesome band. But I'll guys, unless there's any other thoughts, I really appreciate you guys coming in on such a late notice. Some of these shows we're gonna have to get in later than my 9:30 p.m. stream that I typically do. And thank you guys for supporting me. Definitely like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching the replay, thank you guys. Thank you for the support. If you just came in because you saw someone retweeted me or tagged me, you saw comments I made on DNB Live, thank you guys so much for supporting this. This is something I do. I'm at this time, I'm not monetized. This is something I do because I want to create an ability for us to talk about shows after the shows. I try to be someone who tries to balance out being fair about the band, but also trying to say, hey, this is what I don't like. A lot of things you're like, oh, you have to be positive. You can't hate any DMB song. That's not true. There's a lot of, that's not to knock anyone else, but sometimes that's how the fan base can think. Oh, be positive. Don't say there's a bad DMB song. There are bad DMB songs, period. They're bad songs. And everyone's opinion on what a bad song is different. But there are bad songs. So I try to balance out not being too negative or too pessimistic, but also being appreciative as I can of the fact that they're still touring. But again, you get that balance. I hope I get that. But it's your boy Conserviz 34. Definitely, like I said, like, comment, subscribe. If you hit the notification bell on my page, you will be able to then be notified when I go live. That's all I got for tonight, guys. Take care. Have a wonderful weekend. Peace.